everyone. Having made sausage popovers yesterday, I was inspired to try and make a different sausage dish because the popovers in the current climate might prove a little challenging to make because there's no flour available anywhere that I can see in the supermarkets. So I'm going to film this alternative, and it's also a yummy dish. It's a cheap dish, reasonably quick to make. It's a good family meal. So I thought you might just fancy making it. What do we need? It's an easy sausage casserole. So we're staying on the sausage theme, and it's using similar ingredients to what we would be using when we're making the sausage popovers, but we're just doing something different with them. So let me run through the ingredients today, and then we will get started with our cooking. Okay, so I've got 8 sausages. Well, I've actually got 12 because that's the size of packet I had. So, but 8 will serve 4 people. 12 is going to obviously serve a few more people. And then I've got 1 onion. I've got a clove of garlic and some mixed dried herbs. You can see these are kind of all cupboard ingredients that you would typically have. I've got some dried parsley, a tin of tomatoes. I've made some chicken stock out of a chicken stock cube. And then I found a tin of kidney beans in my cupboard. Kidney beans are going to make the dish a bit more hearty, make it go a bit further. And of course, add another nutrient, a bit more protein and vegetable protein and some fibre, which is always a good thing. So those ingredients are for what we make the base of the casserole, okay? And then we put a lovely crunchy topping on the top of it. And that topping is old stale bread. I've got 2 pieces of stale bread. You can see we're using up ingredients that we've got around our kitchen. And I've got some fresh parsley here that I've chopped from my quite sad looking herb box over there, but it'll be fine to use. If you don't have fresh, of course you can use dried, or you can use any other dried herb that you've got in your cupboard. And then we're going to put some olive oil with that. We need about a tablespoon of olive oil. I've just noticed I've not got my olive oil out. I'll get that in a little while. So we're not going to deal with the topping at the moment. I'll come back to that. We're going to deal with how we're going to make the base of the casserole, all right? It's all about doing a bit of mise en place, preparation prior to cooking, and then we can get cooking, okay? So let me do the mise en place for you and get you started, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's prep our garlic clove first. A clove is one part of a big bunch of garlic, all right? And we're going to cut the dry end off. There's a dry end, quite obvious when you see it up close. Take the flat blade of your knife, put your palm on it, and squish it. Now, that squishing helps to remove the skin of the garlic, okay? You don't want to be eating the garlic. Now, if you've got a garlic crusher, like I have, pop it in the garlic crusher and you're good to go. If you've not got a garlic crusher, just chop it up really finely and that'll be perfect as well. Next thing we're going to prepare is our onion. We're going to dice our onion, okay? So we're going to top and tail it and skin it like we ordinarily would with an onion. And then we're going to dice it up. We're going to dice it quite finely. Although, because it's a rustic dish, you could get away with quite big chunks of onion in it. So, remember, we don't want to make ourselves cry with that acid that gets released when we cut the onion open. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping it closed together for as long as possible, using a claw grip on this stage. So hands, thumb tucked behind fingers. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting almost all of the way down, not completely all the way down. And that means that the onion stays nicely together. So we're still chopping it up, but it's together. So it's not falling apart and releasing that acid into our eyes. Bridge grip now. Slice it one way, claw grip again. And at some point, of course, it has to fall apart, and now's the time. But at least we've kept it together for as long as we possibly can, which will stop us from crying over our onions. And you notice I put it cut side down on the board as well. Again, that traps the acid into the board and not into our eyes. I've had all kinds of suggestions in my teaching about how we stop crying. And in my experience, spoons in mouths, wearing goggles, all sorts of things, chopping underwater, Doesn't work. Especially don't chop underwater. That's dangerous. There we go. The onion's nicely chopped up. I've taken the lid off my tin of tomatoes. And what I've done here with my kidney beans, I've drained them into a strainer and then I've washed them, okay? If you were using any other type of beans, you could use butter beans or mixed beans, whatever you have in your cupboard. You treat them exactly the same. Strain them and wash them. You just want to get all that excess toxins out of the way, okay? Now I'm going to heat my pan. And then I'm going to cook my sausages until they're golden brown, okay? So sausages go in. I haven't put any oil in the pan. There should be enough oil in the sausages to stop them from sticking. Especially if you've got a non-stick pan, it should be absolutely fine. Right, so while my sausages are cooking, I'm going to leave you for a moment and then I'll be back to tell you what the next step is once they're cooked, okay? I'll see you in a minute.